My kids were playing Minecraft together.
Yes. Oh, that's fun. Do you have a server for them to do that?
We do. We have servers set up.
That's awesome.
They were playing in their own little world and running on their tablets, but it's really cute. And I decided I would surprise them and I would jump in and play with them on my iPad. We were all sitting on the couch.
Awesome.
Of course, they see me. They get a little notice when I come in there. They know my gamer tag. They start laughing. I jump in there with them and I'm just like asking some questions like, okay, you guys got this. You got the furnace over here. I'm going to build some stuff. Hey, I need to build a iron pickaxe. Like, I need to get some iron. I was just like asking some questions, engaging them. And my 4-year-old looks at me and he goes, Daddy, you're such a noob. And I was like, you little shit. Because he said it correctly. It was the right tone, the right context, the right time.
Dismissive, sure.
Completely dismissive. But then the only thing, I mean, my wife's laughing at me when she hears it, but I can handle that. I'm used to her laughing at me.
Sure.
But the part that was like the icing on the cake, the chef's kiss, if you will, was then my 6-year-old, my older son, then says, oh, no, he's not a noob. He's trying his best. And I was just like, oh, fuck. Like, one kid is calling me a noob.
Defending
the
you.
other one's trying to stand up for me. I clearly don't know what I'm doing in Minecraft. It was very funny.
That's awesome.
So anyway, they're not allowed to play Minecraft anymore. Little fuckers.
Quiet, please.
No, they're not allowed in the house.
Take it away.
They can live where they want. Not here.
Good luck outside. I'm going to blacklist those MAC addresses on the access point real fast.
In 4,
We'll see who's a noob now.
3, 2.
Company presents a Truly Terrible Podcast. Welcome to Nonsense Season 2, Episode 42. I'm Jeff Parker.
I'm CJ Little.
This is our take on the week's business, tech, and entertainment headlines. This time, we'll look at the history of Black Friday.
It should be called Black Eye Friday.
It's National Communicate with Your Kids Day, a reminder to foster meaningful conversations with our children, unplug from distractions, tune into their world, and truly listen.
Listen to them talk about Minecraft all day, nonstop. That's how my house goes.
Engage in heart-to-heart conversations, ask open-ended questions, and encourage them to share their thoughts and feelings without judgment. Seize the opportunity to build strong bonds and create lasting memories.
And really, I just teach them how to make fun of me in those conversations, which they excel at.
They got to be good at something.
Right.
I video chatted with my kid the other day as he and his girlfriend were walking over to watch some basketball at Simon Scott Assembly Hall. And mostly I love chatting with them. They're so delightful. But also, Indiana just looked really cold.
Oh, yeah, it is really cold. That's why we don't live there, Jeffrey.
Cold is not my thing.
My wife grew up in the Southwest. Her first time, I think, seeing snow was with me in Indiana.
Oh, wow.
And my favorite part of this is we flew in, and because she was going to be living there for a while, and we flew in and we got a rental car, and there was one of those brushes on the back seat with the ice scraper.
Sure.
And she was like, oh, what's that for? And I was like, oh, you're going to fucking find out. That's what you're going to do.
I speak ice brush just because I have skied most of my adult life. Most of my childhood I skied too.
By the way, I love thinking about the differences between me having little kids and you having an older child. At least you get to FaceTime with them or your video chat with them. And I'm assuming they know where to hold the phone and you can see their face and communicate like you're there.
Sure.
If you video chat with my children, they will just point the camera at the ceiling and just be like the other side of the room yelling at the phone, which is I think hysterical. But I'm like, you guys don't understand how this works. Like, come on.
The extreme age opposite. My father does that.
Does he really?
The camera's just pointing at the ceiling or whatever he's pointing. He's just not paying any attention to. Oh yeah. It's just. Meanwhile, he's looking at my picture. He sees me fine, and that's not a problem. If the camera droops just slightly, so I'm slightly out of. Oh no, we're losing your picture.
You need like a little. It needs to be a iOS 19. Whenever it detects that the person is not in frame, it like vibrates and gives them a little arrow and shows them how to fix it. Something.
Help,
man.
How is your week going?
My week is awesome. This is one of my favorite times of year because I am recovering from sort of the aftermath of my Black Friday binge.
Oh, and not your Thanksgiving binge.
No. See, it's the one day of the year I don't overeat. I like to do opposites.
Okay.
So 364 days out of the year I overeat. Okay. And then on Thanksgiving I don't. It's just the one day that I don't. I have a light meal, a little snack.
Go for a run.
I go for a walk. I have a very light salad. My Black Friday binge is slowly showing up at my house one box at a time.
Oh, yeah. What'd you get?
Well, that's the best part. I have no fucking idea because I have no short-term memory.
Sure.
And I buy all this stuff last minute, late night. I'm online like, oh, sure, that looks like a good deal. Sure, Cyber Monday. So I buy all this shit. And then when it shows up, everyone's like a brand new experience.
Everyone's a surprise. Sure.
It's like Christmas Day meets Groundhog's Day. And I never know. It could be a gift for my kids. It could be some more home automation. It could be some random non-FDA approved medical quote treatment that my wife wants. All this weird shit.
Which is strange because your wife is a scientist.
I know. I don't know. I don't even ask. I'm just like, if this is your thing. Like if this is the weird thing that you like, fine, whatever.
Go crazy.
Some Instagram person said this was great, and they're definitely not getting paid by that brand. Wink, wink. Sure. There's certain things just aren't worth fighting. That's one. But here's the best part. My front porch looks like sort of like a 2024 technological version of Ellis Island. Just like these huddled masses of various technologies all meeting for the first time, hoping to live out the rest of their lives in better conditions at my house. Like that's basically like they're just there and they're like, hey, what are you? And they're like, I'm an AI camera. And like, where are you going to go? And like, hopefully the bedroom. It's like, nope, you're going to watch the litter box. Straight to the litter box. That's where you're going. Anyway, I have no idea. Just every day is full of surprises. That's the current state that I'm in. It's fantastic. How about you? How's your week?
I'm getting a colonoscopy on Friday. So yesterday I couldn't eat anything. Well, no oatmeal, no nuts, no fiber. My entire diet consists of things with fiber.
Sure.
I mostly have things with a lot of fiber. So there was nothing I could eat yesterday. And then to make things just a little more exciting today, I'm completely fasting.
Yeah.
It's all over Friday.
When we're done recording, I'm going to text you a picture of my watch. If you could have them look for that while they're in there, that'd be great. So true story, I used that joke twice on my my surgeon after my colectomy.
Yes.
And he apparently did not find it funny. I have no recollection of it. I had to have him retell it because I don't remember what I told him. And he literally said to me on round after my first day when I was in recovery, he's like, well, you told 2 jokes. And I was like, great. Were they funny? And he's like, no.
Were they the same joke? It was the same joke both times?
I think when I first asked him, I kept asking him if he found my watch while he was in there. And I was like, was it funny? And he's like, no. I was like, well, here's what I meant to say. Did you find your watch while you're in there? Is that funnier? And he just looked at me with this like sad face. And he's just like, no, it's not any funny.
The other big thing that happened in my week is my dad got hacked.
Oh no, what happened?
Now, we did an episode on this show where you talked about you were in a rush and you Googled the airline or you Siri'd the airline and phone number or whatever.
Got fucked.
And you got the scammer's phone number and they proceeded to just scam you. This was my dad. My parents like to watch Prime Video. There's some show they watch on Amazon Prime. He was having problems for some reason with his Amazon account and you can't find a phone number easily on Amazon.
Oh no.
So he goes to, his search engine. He searches for a customer service.
Amazon customer service. Yeah.
Of course you find one.
Of course.
It's completely bogus. It doesn't go to Amazon. And he just hook, line, and sinker bought into this whole thing.
How bad?
He was in the process of wiring these people $9,999.
What?
Yeah.
What? What?
Yeah.
So wait.
And this was after he'd given them his social security number, his driver's license number. I mean, he's 90 years old.
Of course. But what part of like Amazon Prime did he think $9,000 was okay with?
Somehow they just convinced him and all of that. Now, fortunately for everyone involved, before the wire was completed, either my mother or my sister got him to stop. But then they backtracked and we had to change like every single password to every single account he's ever had.
Oh, what a disaster.
Yeah. And I feel bad. He was embarrassed that the whole thing happened.
And he did the right thing. He Googled the thing. He tried to find the thing.
Yes.
He self-served. He did all the things that were right.
Right.
Yeah, this really frustrates me because you have people that are like, not even Luddites, like they're technologically skilled, but they just don't know. And what am I going to explain? Like, well, did the SSL cert look valid? Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to explain to them?
I know.
And then they're like, but it said Amazon in the name. It'd be like Amazon-crickets. Whatever, LY. And you're like, it said Amazon in the URL, like you told me. And I'm like, fuck. Like I got to explain TLDs to them and paths. Like how far down that rabbit hole can you go?
Not far, especially with somebody who's 90 years old. So I was just like, absolutely do not feel bad about this.
Yeah,
it is fine.
It
is fine. They are very good at tricking people. And so I
think it is worth saying to folks of any age, like there are certain things that you're just not going to get from any regular business. You're not going to be asked to buy gift cards.
Of course.
You're not going to be asked to wire money. Like if those happen, stop.
Right.
Like just full stop.
And they're not going to ask for your social security number because you want to have an Amazon account. Amazon wants to sell you things. They're not going to ask for any points of resistance.
Sure.
The other thing in my week is the Hoosiers, who are 11-1, moved up one spot in the latest rankings and are projected to play Georgia in the first round in a 7 versus 10 matchup. Georgia is a super, super talented team.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard game.
That slight bump in the ranking puts Indiana out of the range where they could get jumped by a potential bid stealer like Clemson. So it could be an exciting Saturday.
Do you know what time the SC game's on Saturday?
It's on never o'clock.
Oh, that's right. They're not playing because they're fucking terrible this year. I forgot.
SC's done. SC's done. It's over.
Yeah.
Let's get to our headlines.
Let's do it.
Intel approaches candidates for CEO role, including former board member Lip-Bu Tan.
Yeah, I saw their posting on Upwork. They said they're looking for somebody for 20 hours a week to come in as CEO of once decent chip manufacturer.
It's heartbreaking seeing what's happening over Intel. Yeah. First of all, these problems were never going to be fixed.
Not quickly.
In 3 years.
No way.
Pat Gelsinger, who was the CEO, the outgoing CEO, outlined his whole plan and all of that.
Yep.
Even then, it was just like, these are decade-long...
You got a lot of technical debt. You got an oil tanker that's got like one small rudder on it and you're trying to steer it. I don't know, Pat. I don't really know much of him, but the bits that I've looked at this after this has sort of come out, I'm like, I don't think he was doing a terrible job. And for them to oust him, I'm not sure was the right move.
The problems are so big, it's hard to know if he was doing a terrible job or a good job. And I assume the board had some sort of metrics.
First of all, who's going to want this job? Second of all, I feel like at this point, your CEO role is more like real estate agent. Like, I feel like you're looking for buyers and you're just going to be like, all right, NVIDIA, what's your price? It's bananas to me to think about Intel and NVIDIA of 10 years ago and how one was like cute and one was this force to be reckoned with.
Sure.
And now the same thing is true, but the roles are reversed.
Okay, enough of the headlines. Up next, we're going to talk about how we got this thing called Black Friday. And why is it called Black Friday and not Green Friday?
Well, it should be called Black Eye Friday. But more importantly, that's what I think it should be called. More importantly, if only I had some sort of device that I could use to communicate with the store so that I could transfer information to them before I went in for Black Friday. Would anything like that exist?
These lead-ins are so subtle. TWINCOM is the first affordable modem with full send and receive fax capabilities. Ooh. For just a few dollars more than a plain 2400 baud modem, you can now own two of the most powerful communication tools in the world, modem and fax on a single board.
Wow, I'm in.
Their innovative design features the Rockwell chipset, the very same found in the majority of the world's fax machines, guarantees you quality, compatibility, and reliability. Image Communications manufactures the TWINCOM 2496 in the U.S. using automated surface mount production technology. This enables us to offer you affordable factory direct pricing.
Now, I've personally seen this piece of engineering magic, and let me tell you, I don't know how I could live without one. For only $139, you too can live in the future.
Join the revolution and order your TWINCOM 2496 today, directly from Image Communications.
I love it. But don't be an asshole in order two. Save some for the next guy, okay? Just one. You only need one. This time, I wanted to talk about this fascinating modern phenomenon.
Yes.
Known as Black Friday.
Now, there's two directions you can go there. I happen to know which direction you are going to go. You're going to talk about Black Friday and where it came from and all that. Sure. And that's very interesting. The interesting thing to me is this segment could also be about, and I hope in a future episode shortly, you will talk about all of the things that you actually purchased this last Black Friday.
It's only a 45-minute show. It'd be like 4 episodes.
I think that's really interesting, and you bought some very specific things. Let's do that in a future show.
Yes.
For now, we can talk about where Black Friday came from.
Let's give all listeners a hint, and let's just say that I'm pretty confident that everything I bought on Black Friday either has a plug or takes a battery. I'm pretty sure every single one. I don't think I bought one thing that doesn't have some sort of circuitry inside of it. Okay, so for our international listeners who perhaps spend most of their time underneath a rock, Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving here in the United States. And
they don't know Thanksgiving. Back up.
Good point.
We're the country that has Thanksgiving. So you might want to step back from there.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know what, 500-ish, 400, 500 years ago, when we stole this country from the people who were already here, we decided that was probably not a great idea. So we would just have like a last dinner with them and say, hey, thanks for the land. So we all got together and we made some like turkey and we made some stuffing and then somebody made some cranberry sauce and we had like a meal with them.
I don't know if we even had those things.
Probably Chick-fil-A if I had to guess.
There wasn't even Thanksgiving in Los Angeles until like 1857 or something.
Well,
we joined the party very, very late.
Yes, we did. But I'm just saying that this whole concept of Thanksgiving, it just feels like it's backhanded. Like it just wasn't. It was like, thank you for all of this that you gave us. We want to be your friends. Now, please go stay on the small piece of land and open casinos
that we assigned to you. By the way, that we're going to move once we discover
we're
going to
move. Yeah, oh, there's oil there. Yep, you're going over here now. Where can we get that's either hotter or colder? Not both. It's either hotter or colder. That's all you get.
Sure.
We're terrible, terrible settlers. All settlers.
I think the Indians actually have a day of sorrow on.
Okay, we don't call them Indians. It's not fucking 1940, Jeffrey. They're Native Americans.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
The indigenous Americans have a day of sorrow on what we know of as Thanksgiving. By the way, you started out to clarify this for the international users. I think we've just made it worse.
Oh, 100%. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I mean, can we just describe the modern version of it to them? Thanksgiving is the day when a bunch of Americans don't work, stay home, watch football, and eat way too much food. That's really what happens.
That's it.
And we say that we do it because the Pilgrims got along with the Indians, which are the version of the Native Americans that we like to depict with feathers in their hairs. Like, it's terrible.
Sure.
There's nothing about this holiday that should bring you joy. But now we try to ascribe joy to it by saying, hey, we're thankful for these things.
And the food's really good. In the last 5 years or so, the food has gotten so much better.
I mean, I feel like it's been on a constant trajectory up, but my food specifically has gotten a lot better. I mean, that's what you're talking about.
I'm not a big fan of turkey to begin with. This has nothing to do with your segment. I'm so sorry. I'm not a big fan of turkey to begin with. Now that we can get turkeys at Popeyes restaurants in Southern California.
Sure.
The turkey is even fantastic.
Of course. You went to Popeyes.
It was really good.
Everything at Popeyes is better. Like, literally, you can just deep fry a fucking napkin at Popeyes and I would eat it. It'd be delicious.
I'm sure that would be a thing they would do. Sure.
I love I'll take the 8-piece and 3 napkins. The guy's like, 3 napkins? Like, yeah, fry them, fucker.
Yeah, deep fry those things. Come on.
just batter them and fry them. It's like the Popeyes version of the mayonnaise sandwich. Just deep fry anything. Anyway, okay. So my point here is that Black Friday is not an official holiday in the United States. And I think that is lost on some people. Some states in the Union here, like California, observe the day after Thanksgiving as a holiday for state government employees. Which is sometimes some states will observe this in lieu of another federal holiday like Columbus Day.
Black Friday is an actual holiday in California for state employees. That's what you're saying.
Well, they call it the day after Thanksgiving, but it's not Black Friday.
Okay.
But it's the same.
Do people understand why it's called Black Friday? Have we gone over that?
No, that's part of what I want to talk about today because I think that's lost on some people. But it's worth pointing out that Thanksgiving is always on a Thursday and that most non-retail employees have no work or school on Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving, the Friday after, the Black Friday.
But retail employees work harder than they've ever worked in their lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to that. But everybody else gets the time off. So you end up with this 4-day weekend that is right at the start of the holiday shopping season, right? Shopping for the Christmas holiday. Because you have this 4-day weekend, the expectation is that you get this big increase in potential shoppers. So what we've said was we'd want to, or we as a retail culture have said, oh, this is a great time to market to folks because they're thinking about shopping for their loved ones for Christmas or whatever to give gifts.
Sure.
So this is a great time. Now, just for perspective, this year, Black Friday, online shopping alone did over $10.8 billion in sales, which is bananas. Okay. And that's double, more than double what we did online in 2017 when sales were just $5 billion. And we're going to come back to talk a little bit about this.
Okay.
Now, here's what's really interesting, especially as I put together this segment. What's really interesting to me, I feel like I got to experience Black Friday at the peak of all of the hype and like the Black Friday that most people remember when they think of like a Black Friday. And it's because my wife, one of her favorite pastimes is to go out with a bunch of her family and do the whole late night shopping thing, right? They loved it. This was their sort of bonding over
the evening of Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving dinner.
Thanksgiving with the family, and then a bunch of them would go out around 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and they would basically shop until 9 a.m. And they just loved it. And it's like they didn't even care so much about the deals. It was just like this time that they could all be together, and they go to this store, and they buy this, and they'd shop for that, and the this and the thing.
And the stores stay open?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, during the peak, I'd say the early teens, the early 20 teens, they'd stay open until the next day. They just stay open all the way through to the next night. So these ladies would go out and they'd be out until like 9 a.m. And the first couple of times I hung out with them, I was like, oh yeah, I'll go. And I go for like 3 hours. And then I would just tap out around 2 a.m. I'm like, this is enough. Now, when I got smart on some of the later years, I started bringing my camera, my big camera, to shoot the people.
Sure.
Because what I realized is that Black Friday is really a time to observe your fellow humans in what I would consider their most authentic state. Like whatever little respect for norms or decency or even like just the other human being next to you.
It's gone out the window.
It's gone, which like, cause it all just goes right out the window when you have one of these like Black Friday shopping sprees. And I'd argue that that's the real them, right? Like the real them is the one that's underneath all of that.
Yeah, sure.
And like fist fights and line cutting and ripping items out of each other's hands. I've witnessed some of that, right? And you see more of it online. But then there's been like...
I've seen it on video on TV. Right? They sometimes show it on TV.
And crashing through the front door. There have been literal deaths from shootings and tramplings. I mean, it's really terrible.
You'll put the link in the show notes.
It's all over, to the trampling. It's all over like a fucking toaster that's, $19 instead of $29 or whatever.
Right.
And part of that just makes me even more sad, where I'm like, people are fighting for a toaster $10 cheaper. And then there's always like that person who's like, oh, if I don't get the blah, 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 my kid's Christmas is ruined because I didn't get the rainbow colored Furby. It's like, wait a minute. First of all, it's not ruined. And if you think it's ruined, then maybe you should do like some soul searching and further consideration about how you're raising your spawn.
Sure.
Because it should not be that. It should not be that I didn't get the thing and life is over. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
Black Friday, sort of the evolution and where it came from, right? The meaning of Black Friday has certainly changed over the years. Where it initially came from was sort of referring to calamitous days.
Wait, calamitous days.
Calamitous, what did I say?
You said calamitous. I just want to make sure. You just kind of ran over the word. I just want to make sure we understand what we're talking about. These are bad days.
Bad times. Yeah, these are the days where you're like, oh, not so good. So you'd put the word, you would describe it as like a dark day, right? So Black Friday.
Makes sense.
So a notable early instance of this was the Panic of 1869 in the U.S. Do you know what this refers to?
I do a little bit, but go ahead.
It's fascinating. And absolutely episode worthy at some point on this show. It occurred when these two financiers, Jay Gould and James Fisk, took advantage of their connections with the Grant administration in an attempt to corner the gold market.
Yeah.
When President Grant learned of this manipulation, he ordered the Treasury to release a large supply of gold, which halted the run and caused prices to drop by like 18%.
So they had Grant connections, but then Grant said, even with your Grant connections, we're going to end this.
Yeah. So you had fortunes that were made and lost in a single day, including the president's own brother-in-law, Abel Corbin, who was absolutely ruined. So you could argue that's probably why he did it. He's probably like, oh, fuck Abel, that guy. Shows up to Thanksgiving dinner.
I never liked that. Never liked that guy anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. Like he's just talking about all his gold. Yeah, no.
Because gold was illiquid.
Sure.
Releasing a bunch of it into the market made it much more liquid, and so it adjusted to the correct pricing.
The earliest known usage of Black Friday to refer to the day after Thanksgiving didn't occur until almost like 80 years later. And this was in the journal Factory Management and Maintenance in November of 1951.
Oh, wow.
And then again in 1952. Have you kept up your subscription to the Factory Management and Maintenance?
I let mine go. I had it for years.
It's really great. I mean, there's nothing better than Factory Management and Maintenance. That was a fucking journal. That was a literal journal in the 50s.
Because Factory Management and Maintenance was a real thing you had to do.
I guess before you had the robots to do it for you. Yeah, you had to do it.
Management. So why would they call it Black Friday? What were they referring to?
So they referred to it as the practice of workers calling in sick on the day after Thanksgiving to get them that 4-day weekend.
Yeah.
That didn't really seem to have caught on. So around the same time, the terms Black Friday and Black Saturday came to be used by the police in Philadelphia and Rochester to describe the crowds and traffic congestion accompanying the start of the Christmas shopping season, when a large number of suburban tourists came into the city to begin their holiday shopping, and in some years would attend Saturday's annual Army-Navy football game.
Oh, sure.
The headache that was caused from this, right? The police had to work longer shifts, deal with traffic jams, accidents, shoplifting, all this other crap.
So the black refers to a dark day.
The black refers to these dark days of Black Friday and Black Saturday.
Yeah.
In 1961, the city and merchants of Philadelphia attempted to improve conditions, and a public relations expert recommended rebranding the days, quote, Big Friday and Big Saturday.
Okay.
But those terms were quickly forgotten.
Okay, yeah.
Terrible.
Didn't catch on.
You could argue that really Thursday is Big Thursday because we all get probably 5 pounds bigger on Thursday. Take a quick little pause here because I thought this was super interesting while I was going through this. It's interesting to note that Thanksgiving's relationship to Christmas shopping led to some controversy just before this. So this is like 1939. Some Americans had the option of celebrating Thanksgiving on 2 different dates because that year had 5 Thursdays in November. Retail stores would have liked to have a longer shopping season, but no store wanted to break with tradition and be the one that started advertising before Thanksgiving. So where this comes from is this sort of debate between, do you do it on the last Thursday of the month, which is sort of the traditional Thanksgiving,
or the 4th,
or the 4th Thursday. So every couple of years, you're going to get a 5 Thursday November, and you'd end up with 1 extra week for the shopping season. The retailers, they really wanted to be the 4th Thursday in November. And they sort of informally petitioned FDR. And in 1939, FDR issued a presidential proclamation proclaiming Thanksgiving to be the 4th Thursday in November rather than the last.
Sure.
Unfortunately, many saw the move as nothing but a money grab by retailers, And several state governors declared the holiday would be celebrated in their states on the traditional last Thursday.
Oh, okay.
In 39,
there were 2 Thanksgivings.
You're dealing with like World War II, right? Just coming around the corner. And they're like, no, fuck you. We need to have Thanksgiving on the last
That's probably
Thursday.
what started World War II.
World War II is probably what ended this fucking debate, right? Like, could you imagine the state governor of whatever, like, shitty new state in the West, New Mexico's trying to like, oh, it's 39. New Mexico's even a state yet.
Sure.
Like they're showing up being like, no, we're going to do it on the last. And he's like, there are fucking Germans trying to land in, New Hampshire.
There's hyperinflation in the Weimar Republic. That's going to lead to fascism.
This was finally settled when Congress passed a law in December of 41 that made Thanksgiving the 4th Thursday of November. So yes, there's a law that makes Thanksgiving the 4th Thursday.
I love that the retailers, for some reason, wouldn't advertise ahead of Thanksgiving.
Well, yeah. I mean, you had some modicum of decency.
Because now they start like in June.
It's just fucking year round. Like
right.
In January, they're like, oh, here comes Prime Day in July.
Exactly.
And I'm like, fuck, let me just breathe. The use of the phrase Black Friday spread slowly at first. It was first appeared in the New York Times in 1975. And it's still referred specifically to, quote, the busiest shopping and traffic day of the year in Philadelphia. And it soon became more widespread. It gained national attention in the early 80s. Merchants objected to the use, though, of this disparaging term, right? Black Friday.
A dark day.
To refer to one of the most important shopping days of the year.
Right.
It suggested an alternative derivation. So retailers that would traditionally operate at a financial loss for most of the year, January through November, and they made their profit during the holiday season, beginning on the day after Thanksgiving. And traditionally, when this was recorded in their financial records, one common accounting practice would be to use red ink to show negative amounts and black ink to show positive amounts.
Sure.
So, under this sort of theory, which I think is bullshit, in the beginning of the period, when retailers would no longer be in the red, they'd instead now be making money. They'd be in the black. And that's sort of like, they're like, we'll call this Black Friday.
That's the terminology that I'm used to.
That was published in like 81.
That's what I've always heard.
Yeah. I would argue it's not the Roots. The Roots isn't cornering the gold market, but it seems to be really from the congestion and mayhem. And it's certainly become that. And then also worth noting is the Philadelphia Inquirer reported in 1985. So pretty late into what I would have thought of as the Black Friday season.
Sure.
That retailers in Cincinnati and Los Angeles were still unaware of the term.
Oh, wow.
Which half makes sense to me, right? Because for Cincinnati, at least, we know everything takes at least 5 years longer to get to any part of Ohio.
Sure.
So that makes sense. They're just behind. But we would have thought LA would have got the telegram earlier.
Well, no, by November, we're all in Hawaii.
Yeah, you're right. Because it's 68 in LA.
Sure.
And we're all way too cold. We're all freezing. So we'll have to go to Hawaii.
You got to thaw.
Late 80s, you're starting to see it take off. This is where I'd argue you start to get into what I'm going to call the Black Friday mania days.
Okay.
For many years, retailers kept pushing opening times on Black Friday earlier and earlier, eventually reaching midnight. So the midnight end of Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, beginning of Friday morning. That's how midnight works. Kmart opened its stores on Thanksgiving as early as 1991 and had been open on Thanksgiving Day for many years. And we all know how this worked out for Kmart because they're doing great right now.
I don't know. Do they exist still? I haven't seen a Kmart in years.
I don't think so. I think the brand might still be around. In 2009, I'm assuming out of some modicum of decency, a Kmart manager named Freddie Moss opened at 7 p.m. on Thanksgiving in order to allow shoppers time to avoid Black Friday traffic and return home in time for dinner with their families.
Very nice.
So he's trying to like get out of this sort of midnight, late night traffic rush bullshit. 2 years later, a number of retailers began opening at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. on what became known as Black Thursday. So basically, they just kept pushing the time earlier and earlier.
Sure.
And in subsequent years, other stores followed this trend, opening earlier and earlier on Thanksgiving or remaining open all day, beginning in the early morning hours, right? And some retail and media sources have used the term Gray Thursday or Brown Thursday instead. I personally prefer Brown Thursday, but that's... So then by 2014, this Black Thursday sales were generally a failure, right? As overall sales for the holiday weekend fell 11% compared to the previous year, despite heavy traffic at stores on Thanksgiving night. So finally, and this is like when I would argue reason started to come into play, in 2015, a number of retailers decided to go back to closing on Thanksgiving. And Walmart, although holding firm on opening on the holiday and holding its sales, also pledged to offer the same deals online for those who wish to stay home.
Sure.
And I think that was really the end of the Black Friday as we sort of knew it during its peak.
Amazon must have had something to do with bringing it to it because they literally never close.
Emma, what?
24 hours a day, you can shop.
Is that true?
At Amazon, yeah.
Oh, usually I don't go after 9. I just assumed it was shut down.
You think they'd close, wouldn't you?
Huh. Yeah. That's so weird.
I do think that when I go to Amazon's site and it's during the Christmas holidays, there should be like a Salvation Army guy ringing a bell next to a bucket before I get into the actual pages.
Totally. You got to walk by. I mean, that would be a pretty nice overlay for them to do. You just got to pay like a buck or whatever to get in. Retailers have certainly received pushback from consumers over opening on Thanksgiving Day, and I think that's probably well earned. Shoppers always oppose stores opening on Thursdays because it's not only over commercialization of Thanksgiving, but retail workers can't spend time with their families because they're at the fucking store. And you get these like Thursday doorbuster sales forcing consumers to sacrifice enjoying Thanksgiving evening with their families in order to miss out on something that's either highly sought after or much cheaper that they might otherwise not be able to afford. It was a fucking mess.
Doorbuster is another expression we should talk about at some point, because to me that's like a negative connotation. That's like, this is going to be mobbed. People are going to break down the doors. Why do I want to be there for that?
I've always interpreted it as a fucking instruction. Yeah. That's what I interpreted it as.
Makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. Like, all right, I'll fucking Kool-Aid man my way right into your store. I don't give a shit. Watch this. So you're seeing this peak 2015, right? Now we're starting to become a little more sane. And then really the doorbuster sales on Thanksgiving just ended in 2020 because you had, large crowds were forbidden since March due to the pandemic.
Oh, COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. And major retailers like Walmart and Target had already reduced their hours and dropped their 24/7 operations in response to the pandemic.
Yeah.
So they were already positioned to be like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. So the pandemic, I think, was one of the big final nails in the coffin of this Black Friday craziness.
Online retail shopping was going to take over anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, you saw in 2020, when you saw this sort of move to online shopping, according to Adobe Analytics, online shopping set a record on Thanksgiving of 2020 with $5 billion in total spending, which was almost 22% higher than the previous year.
Wow.
Now, you kind of didn't have a choice, right? In 2020, that's what you had to do, but it proved that it worked. And most major retailers again closed on Thanksgiving in 2021, with Target stating that its decision would be permanent.
Yeah.
I think it was great that Target did that because they're like the big guys, right? And they said, look, we're not going to play this fucking game and we're okay putting this out there. Could they have changed their mind if everybody else said, well, we're going to open? Sure. But the point is they didn't.
Yeah.
And everybody else, the smaller stores, were like, oh, great. You don't be open. I can stay home with my kids. This is much better. The minority of retail chains that remained open on the holiday that year in 2021 were limited mainly to like pharmacies or dollar stores and grocery stores, like the retail categories that traditionally do not have doorbusters, just sort of your regular.
We call that essentials.
Essentials. Yeah. Yeah, totally. So the other thing that came out of the pandemic that was interesting was those holiday deals then were offered over a longer period of time, sometimes even going in as early as October. Mm-hmm. And now you had less of a reason to be there for the doorbuster on Thursday or Friday or whatever. You get the same deal, which again, to me just kind of makes sense. Like why are you doing this weird time thing? So Adobe Analytics reported that online sales reached $9 billion in 2020. That was for the total holiday season.
That's amazing.
22% more than the previous year.
Yeah.
So they did about $5 billion that year over Thanksgiving, and then almost double that in the rest of the year. So the point is, like, shit was moving towards online.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me to note that it took not just the proficiency of technology and certainly mobile, but also this pandemic really helped get this thing across the line. Kind of like what we saw with remote working.
Sure.
Right? The pandemic really helped get remote working. And then you go, oh, turns out this does work. Like this is functional. You can still sell goods and make money. I think no surprise to anyone, at least no surprise to me, this concept has sort of become globalized, right? With countries around the world adopting Black Friday to mimic this U.S. phenomenon.
Yeah.
Typically adjusting local customs or creating a similar event, something aligned with their brand or with local tradition. And I'd say this is a terrible example. There are things we do well in the U.S. This is not one of them. Don't copy this thing.
Yeah, sure.
This is not the thing that you should copy. But you still have like Black Friday deals the day after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is not a thing. Sales being promoted all across the planet.
Sure.
And especially Cyber Mondays become a thing. So that's like a online thing. To me, it's all just one big blurry sale, but who knows? What do you think about Black Friday? You a fan?
I'm not really a fan of shopping.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it's not my favorite activity.
What is this a store of home automation stuff?
I mean, there are things, and I certainly did what you did, not to the level that you did it, but I did buy a lot of stuff that was on black sale pricing.
You're going to buy it anyway, right?
Yeah, I was going to buy it anyway. The pricing was not necessarily much better. I had thrown a bunch of stuff in my Amazon cart, buy later, you save for later. And as the prices would drop down to amounts that I was like, oh, that's actually a good price on that, then yeah. So I ended up buying some bunch of stuff on Black Friday, in the Black Friday sales anyway.
Isn't it just terrible for business? Like, I'm going to buy this thing anyway. Oh, it's cheaper now. Okay, I'll give you less money for the same stuff.
Well, that's the nice thing about having that cart where you can save for later and you can just watch the pricing on things. And I know when the pricing is good. Same thing happened for Cyber Monday. There were, things in my cart and the price went down to that's a good price on that. So yeah, I did end up buying stuff for Cyber Monday as well.
There was something new this year, at least new for me. I don't think they've done this previously, because I shop a lot on Amazon, which soon to be even more. I didn't know they're open after hours. But the thing that's amazing about Amazon is if you have an Amazon branded card, they pass the EFT transaction fee back to you. So you get 5% back on pretty much all your Amazon transactions, which is great. If you buy,
I had no idea.
If you buy a lot of shit on Amazon, it's worth getting one of those cards because I don't even think there's an annual fee. You just get 5% back on all your transactions, which is lovely.
That's great.
And how do you spend it? Back on Amazon, where I'm going to spend money anyway.
Right, sure, of course.
So total lock-in. And then this year, they're like, hey, if you don't take the typical Prime shipping, which is me getting anywhere from tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. to 2 days from now.
And I try really hard not to, unless I absolutely have to. I do not take the Prime shipping.
So listen to this shit. If you take the no rush shipping, which again, I'm in no hurry, I'll take the no rush shipping.
2%.
They give me another 2% back.
Yeah.
So I get 7% back on products that are already marked down such that there's probably no margin in them.
Sure.
And now they've taken another 7% off. And I'm like, I'm already giving you all my money. Like, I can't give you any more. Like, I don't understand. But I was like, okay, fine. I get to buy 7% more shit because you're willing to give me back some of my money. So
Amazon prices are not always the lowest prices. So you do kind of have to do some comparison shopping with other people.
Camel. I'm a camel. I just like
camel. Do
you not know camel?
No.
Oh,
tell me camel.
You put in it sounds like a Boy George song.
Totally.
But it is fantastic. You get price history on Amazon on a nice little graph. Mm-hmm. And then you just know, because the pricing is super variable and it bounces all over, you just know if you're buying on like a local minima, local maxima.
Oh, that's great.
It's really cool. It's really fun.
Only Amazon? I can't know for other stores?
They might have a product for like Best Buy too, but it mainly only works on Amazon.
Because a lot of times I can get things cheaper from Best Buy than I get them from Amazon.
Yeah,
you have to factor in shipping and all the rest of that stuff, but that's frequently the case.
Yeah, for the most part, it's so close. I'm just like, it's like Costco. Like I just go to Costco and just purchase.
No, and there are times when Costco's not the cheapest as well.
Of course.
You kind of do have to do a little comparison shopping.
I'm not buying on price at that point. Like I'm getting service, I'm getting the thing at the place. Like, it comes with some extra perks. Although now, man, I'll tell you, Amazon, especially, the afternoon, evening shopping, when it's here before I wake up the next morning, that is
that's
impressive shit. Like, I am constantly amazed at how quick, and they really do their best to try to get it to you as fast as possible. Like they want you. Like I buy the thing, I leave for 2 days. Like you can have it tomorrow at 8 a.m. I'm like, I don't want it at 8 a.m. Like you sure? You can have it at 8 a.m. I'm like, stop flexing. I get it. You can get it here faster than my fucking pizza delivery guy. Still, settle down.
I want to be in the discipline of I'm not in a rush for this.
Yeah.
It comes when it comes.
Sure.
Take your time. Get it here when you get it to me.
Yeah. I'd say for the most part, half the stuff I'm like, oh yeah, no, I want it now. And then I get it. I'm like, oh, look at that. And then it's on my desk for anywhere from 3 days to 4 months until I get to it, which is just sad. I have this alternate theory. They try to get to you as fast as possible just to start your 30-day clock for the returns.
Well, that would make perfect sense. I mean, that's and they can't charge your card until they actually ship it. So
that's true.
Yes. So they do want to get it out the door to you as quickly as possible.
Well, I don't know how much Amazon's worried about the cash flow problem. I feel like there's
it's not a big
Hoover Dam of cash flowing through that place every day.
For me, it's more of just a personal self-discipline thing.
Of course,
I don't want to be addicted to this thing of being able to have things tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, if you want to take your personal discipline on that, which I respect, if you want to take your Amazon-based personal discipline to the next level, to basically like the level of like edging, go buy some shit on AliExpress and watch that. Because you buy on AliExpress and it'll be like
it's a month and a half before it gets to you. Yeah,
it'll be here in 3 to 12 weeks. And you're like, what the fuck? Are you tying it to a pigeon? Like, how are you getting it to me? 3 to 12 weeks.
It is stunningly slow.
You're like, the boat either goes straight to LA or it goes the other way around the world. Right. And by the way, it's a sailboat. We don't know where the trade winds are going. I'm like, I don't understand that spread. And then inevitably I get it in like a week and a half. And I'm like, oh, this is great. It's just cheap Amazon.
Sure.
It's basically what it is.
I don't want to become Veruca Salt. I want it and I want it now. Give it to me. I want to not be that person. So I forget the fast shipping. Just get it to me when you can get it to me. Don't rush.
Man, and now you got me thinking about him.
I want it and I want it now. Give it to me.
Because he's so good in that scene where he's just like, yeah, that's what happens.
He's totally nonplussed. Yeah, I love it.
I had 3 major takeaways I thought were worth sort of highlighting from this.
Yeah.
One is that the first Black Friday started when President Grant flooded the market with gold from the Treasury to prevent some folks from cornering the gold market. That tells me you should never look at the $50 bill the same.
Yeah, because it's got Grant's picture on it for
first Black Friday, right?
Breaking the gold rush.
Breaking the gold rush. Attempts to rebrand to Big Friday failed quickly. I don't think anybody should be surprised by that. A good name like Black Friday.
It was just a regular size Friday.
It's just a regular size Friday. You're not supersized Friday.
No.
Tried to call it supersized Friday.
We didn't try to ram 2 days together.
They also tried to call it cream off-white Friday. That didn't work. So Black Friday is what stuck. Baby blue Friday was also considered. But then the one takeaway that stood out the most to me was that ultimately what ended this Black Friday craziness, I think that the real end of it was the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's always lovely for me to think about I'm an optimistic guy. I'm a glass half full. What came out of the pandemic that is beneficial? And this is one of them.
It pulled us forward in a lot of areas.
Absolutely.
Video conferencing, that was just pulled forward
Despite
10 years.
Zoom's best effort to drag us back to the fucking Stone Ages
For sure.
of video conferencing, it did pull us forward. Anyway, that's all I got. I mean, it's Black Friday. I'm glad I experienced it. I'm glad I got to live through some of the craziness. But I think generally speaking, we are better as a civilization without this terrible capitalistic worst part of all humans crap. I do miss just sitting there and just watching it all go down and just being like, this is comedy. I'm not vested in any of this.
It was comedy. It was horrific comedy.
But it was horrific. It was horrific. It was, pardon the pun, it was a dark comedy.
It was horrible to see humans behaving like this.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have to get out of here, but quickly before we do, have you seen or read anything good this last week?
I have. You always go with your new shiny things. I'm sure today it's going to be some great new film that was released or some new show on Netflix.
Okay.
I'm going old school, right? As you know, I like the classics.
Okay.
I like movies and Nazes to be older than me.
Wow.
That's okay. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
I watched a Charlie Brown Christmas with my kids over the break.
Oh, yeah.
I had forgotten how much fun that film is. This is
great fun.
1965 animated television special. I did not know this. It was the first TV special based on the comic strip Peanuts. It was the first one.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There were a bunch that followed because it was successful.
Yeah, of course. It was so successful.
Yeah.
But I still think it stands up. And, in the special, if you don't, I'm sure you remember, in the special, Charlie Brown finds himself depressed despite the onset of the cheerful holiday season. After Lucy suggests he direct a neighborhood Christmas play, his best efforts are ignored and mocked by his peers. When he chooses a puny Christmas tree as a centerpiece, I forgot just how grumpy Charlie Brown is in all of these episodes and how much the world is tilted against him. It's so much fun. And to see my kids who were born basically in the 2020s enjoy this 55, 60-year-old film as much as I think I did as a kid, I was like, oh, this is the definition of a classic, right? This is just so much fun. One of the best parts of this experience, by the way, we watched it obviously on a modern, flat screen, whatever. Stupid 80-inch TV. And the kids asked about the black bands on the side. Yeah. And then I got into a whole conversation. I was like,
because the aspect ratio is 4:3.
The aspect ratio is 4:3 and your TV's 16:9 now. And I explained to them that, this is the size of TV back when mommy and daddy were kids.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay. And I was like, wait a minute, let me be clear. It's not that size because it's a giant fucking TV.
Right.
And then, I held up my hands like the size of like a 4-inch, 27-inch TV. And my kids just laughed. They were just like, what? You watched on that? And I was like, yeah, you little shits. That's where we came from.
With kind of rounded corners.
Yeah, some of them were built into cabinets and furniture. It was a whole piece of furniture that you bought. It was kind of bananas, but it was so much fun that they enjoyed it. So I would strongly suggest this holiday season, if you have any affection, alliteration, same sound in the series. If you have any affection for that film, you should go watch it again because it's really fun. And I saw it on Apple TV. It was on Apple TV to stream.
Very fun. Very fun.
So how about you? What have you seen?
Wicked, Cynthia Erivo, and Ariana Grande, and Jeff Goldblum. I saw the musical in London years ago, so the story didn't really surprise me. But at 2 hours and 40 minutes, it's significantly longer, so you get more of Wicked. Also, this is Wicked Part 1. The movie ends at the intermission of the theatrical show.
That's so fantastic. Yeah, sure.
So there's going to be another one, obviously, which will be maybe another 2 hours and 40 minutes of Wicked.
Sure.
With a $160 million budget, you're literally seeing like $1 million a minute.
That's great. Yeah. That's fantastic.
So it's something of the value.
Yeah, of course.
By the way, if you were ever scared by Margaret Hamilton as the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz, there's a delightful episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood on YouTube where Margaret herself demystifies the witch by getting dressed piece by piece in her costume with Fred Rogers. It's absolutely delightful.
nothing that stands up in time. Every single one of those Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood episodes are all
they're so good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That is some of the best television I've ever seen.
Wicked, a visual extravaganza in theaters now.
Actual theaters that I have to go to?
Actual movie theaters with COVID-breathing people. I have no idea if they have COVID. It was packed, though. It was the theater was packed.
Yeah, that's awesome. I will probably not go see it in the theaters, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it at home on my TV in 16:9. My children don't mock me.
You don't have bars on the side?
I have bars on the side.
That is the episode.
Thank you for joining us for all this nonsense. Truly terrible podcast from The Awful Company. Visit us on the web at nonsense.productions. I'm CJ Little.
I'm Jeff Parker.
If you like this program, please follow, download, subscribe, and like it at Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, AntennaPod, iHeartRadio, Spotify, my favorite Overcast, wherever you may get your podcasts from.
Nonsense is initially recorded using Audacity, 32-bit float recording for the highest quality sound. Audacity, like 95% of everything we use at Nonsense, is free and open source. If you need to make high-quality recordings, check out Audacity. Special thanks to our floor director, Matt Darling.
Thanks, Matt. We'll be here every Thursday morning for more nonsense. Please join us. We just got to do this more often for me to get more used to it. 100 episodes isn't enough to burn it into ROM. It's all in volatile memory right now. Every time I go to sleep at night, I wake up and I'm like, oh, we should do a podcast. Oh my God.
It's just starting over.
How funny would it be if you and I are just stuck in like a Groundhog's Day loop where I'm just like, hey, we should do a podcast. You're like, all right, here we are. How about Monday? Yeah, sure. Let's record. Yeah. What a great idea. Oh, let's call it nonsense. Oh, what a great. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Give me the toaster in the bathtub.